and we will share the presentation. Okay, so first quarter of 2025, usually a brief look at the changes. Ownership structure fairly unchanged for the last quarter. Limited trading activity. Stock price closed the quarter around 40 euro per share, so minor changes during the first quarter. As far as the results go for the first quarter, we see basically a red quarter across the board. Main driver was the weak secondary market trading activity, equity trading minus 32% year-on-year in the first quarter. And basically this is the top left corner is the typical chart we are looking at. As you well know, the equity trading volume is the main driver for our revenues. And we see a significant decrease in the amount traded in the equity products in the first quarter of this year. Talking about the reason and the prospects going forward, certainly the political landscape in Romania and the uncertainty, but in Romania, but also the uncertainty in the global markets, even the global markets had a fairly poor first quarter. So this uncertainty was very visible in terms of investor activity and investor appetite for the local market. In terms of the positive is that the central depository recording an increase in revenue 8% year-on-year, showing good resilience. Operating expenses, they were down at a standard level 7%. Nevertheless, the increase in costs related to the CCP, the technology side, but as well the increase in workforce there, now increasing number of employees requesting the authorization process, has driven the group costs up 19% year-on-year. And yes, the bottom line was also impacted by an additional impairment of 3.19 million RON of the investment in the CCP. We remind you this comes following an impairment of 13.1 million recorded for the full year 2024, which was reported in our annual report published in April. So yes, all in all, we had a quarter, and we are looking forward for the, let's say, clarity to see a more clear business environment, a more clear political environment, in order to hopefully see increasing activity as well as in day-to-day trading, but also a resumption, hopefully, of equity offerings. So these are the main updates for the quarter from my side. Yes, I will ask my colleague Cristina to give you more details on the financials.
Okay, thank you, Remus. So I will go through in detail a little bit, except what Remus has summarized for the first quarter of 2025. So operating revenues are 7.8 million RON, down 15% versus previous period, generated by a decrease in trading revenues by 26%. But this was partly offset by the revenues obtained from the government securities subscriptions, which were at a record value in the first 3 months of 2025, and also by increasing structural price of products trading revenues. We recorded a better evolution in other revenues, such as issuer maintaining fees, 11% year-on-year increase, and IT services, 25% year-on-year increase. Operating revenues are 6.6 million, 7% decrease versus Q1 2024. Amid the efforts to reduce variable expenses, such as other operating expenses and third-party services, but taking in consideration that over 75% of BVB operating expenses are fixed. The decrease is also due to a better effect of some one-off expenses related to the headquarter allocations recorded in the previous period. Operating profit for the first 3 months of 2025 is 1.2 million RON. Financial result, a loss of 3.45 million RON, influenced significantly by the impairment, additional impairment recorded on BVB participation in CCP of 3.2 million, as well as negative impact from the realized exchange rate differences from the evaluation and increase in expected credit loss provisions. Net result for the first quarter of 2025 is a loss of 2.45 million, mainly due to the additional impairment on CCP recorded.
I will add some elements here regarding the depreciation. As you know, under we are obliged, according to IFRS, to review and to evaluate our participations in our investments on each financial statements issue and publication. So, given that we have quarterly financial statements, we will and we had to review and to make this exercise again for 31 of March. Yes, we had the depreciation, the first depreciation recorded in December 2024. We continued on the same elements that were taken in consideration when computing the recoverable amount of CCP, but unfortunately we had to take in consideration the delays reported by CCP and the fact that also the file for the authorization was not yet sent to the authorities. We will continue to review our participations, our investments in subsidiaries, but effect on our figures will be estimated, because we are speaking here about an estimation, depending on the events and the business plan of the of CCP, further changes, and also on the indicators that will be taking consideration on the quarterly valuation.
Moving on to the consolidated figures. So the financial performance at consolidated level for the first quarter of 2025, it is significantly influenced by the loss recorded on CCP in the context of the new expenses recorded, which are in line with the business plan estimation, and as it is in the process of operationalization. Therefore, the indicators and especially operating result, net result are significantly increased.
As you can see, sorry, I will add some things. As you can see in our right graph presentation, the net profit by segment year to date, we are recording positive results in our main business lines, which are operations. Yes, we have the trading segment, even lower than last year. As Christina mentioned, influenced and also Remus influenced by the political and economical conditions in Romania, and also the global influence from the economic environment. You can see also the post-trading segment with an increase. The registry segment, which is also influenced also by some one-offs, but with positive results. And the impact, the high impact on from the CCP.ro, the 4.3 million loss, significantly increased compared to the loss from the first quarter 2004 of 1.4 million. So 3 million lei. It's unexpected loss, so it's not something that we didn't knew. We have the business plan of CCP that was approved last year, also with some updates, influenced by the postponing on once from the event that happened at the end of 2004, and also the postponements from the beginning of the year. So as I said, it's an expected loss, and this was also public figures on the BVB side and on our estimations. Okay.
Okay. So on operating revenues, we have a slight decrease of 4%, reaching the value of 16.5 million RON, and are influenced mainly from the lower trading segment revenues, while post-trading and registry segment revenues increased by 8%, up to 8.8 million. Increase based on higher value of portfolios managed and increased in some of the tariffs for the issuers. Operating expenses are in amount of 17.8 million, 19% increase, or 2.8 million RON compared with the previous period, and are mainly generated by the new expenses encountered by the CCP in the implementation and operationalization process of 3.3 million RON increase compared with Q1 2024. Consolidated operating result is a loss of 1.3 million compared with 2.2 profit in previous period, directly influenced by the expenses recorded on CCP. Net financial result is 264,000 RON, 1 million below the value from the previous period, and is directly influenced by the increase in expected credit losses provisions and the negative impact from exchange rate difference revaluation on foreign currency liquidities. Net result of BVB Group in Q1 2025, a loss of 1.2 million, which is a net between the profit of 3.2 million recorded on the operating segments of the group, and the loss of 4.3 million recorded on CCP. Regarding the distribution of operating revenues of segments in Q1 2025, the trading segment share in group's operating revenues decreased from 52% in 2024 to 46% in Q1 2025, following a better evolution of revenues in post-trading and registry segment. Settlement segment recorded a slight increase of 2% compared with the previous period, reaching 5.8 million RON in revenues, and in terms of profitability has the highest operating margin of 39%. Registry segment revenues recorded an increase of 21%, up to 12.4 million RON, and it's based on increasing portfolio values, higher tariffs for issuers, as well as of the operations provided. Moving on to operating expenses.
Yes, here we have a decrease of 7%, almost 8 million RON. We are speaking here about the BVB standalone figures. On the personnel expenses, we have a small increase. We recorded 3.6 million RON for the first 3 months in 2025. We have a higher number of employees starting with 2024, as we are obliged to cover our operational needs, and also as a result of the annual indexation carried out in April 2024, so the base effect. We didn't record it for the first quarter estimation for bonuses and stock option plan in line with the financial performance in this quarter. We'll see in the next quarters how the financial situation, how the results of BVB will be, and we will make in these quarters the estimation that we are used to have in the quarterly results. We have decreased this in services provided by third parties. As we mentioned, we are trying to reduce our variable cost, but also the base effect mentioned by my colleagues related to some one-off expenses recorded in first quarter of 2024. Other operating expenses is also decreased due to a lower activities in marketing and marketing, but also from the base effect from recording in the first quarter 2024 the last expenses for our previous headquarter in Boulevard Ducar. Okay, so this was from the standalone point of view. Regarding the BVB group, we have left, you can see the group with the breakdown of operating expenses of the main lines. First quarter 2024 compared to first quarter 2025 compared to 24. Influenced, as we mentioned before, by the additional expenses incurred by CCP in order to fulfill the requests of the for the authorization and implementation of the central counterparty. So the expenses are coming also from the personnel side by and we have an increase in the average number of employees on the CCP side. There will be also some additional increases. The request is that the CCP should have a full personnel scheme. We have increases in third-party services as the contracts signed in 2024 by CCP for the clearing system and all the functions needed in order to run a central counterparty needed additional developments and also additional costs to implement and to maintain these systems. We have compared to 2004 additional expenses with the depreciation of the amortization of the fixed assets bought during the second part of 2024. As you know, we mentioned that time that CCP will run the systems on their own hardware, and there was an investment in servers, in data center, and new equipment. So all these investments performed during the last year, and also the contracts for the license, the Euronext license, the maintenance, and for development services are now in place and started to be practically 100% in the recorded in the expenses of CCP. In order to prove that CCP.ro is able to run as a central counterparty. Yes, these were the main elements of the consolidated expenses. We have another slide with an overview of the financial position at 31 of March. Also, in the left table on the standalone, also on the group side. On the standalone, as expected, recording the new expense with depreciation. This expense is reflected on the net asset side. This means that we recorded a decrease of the non-current assets with 4%. I will mention again that all these expenses are estimations made of the expenses with depreciation, and it will depend on the progress of the project in order to revert these expenses in the next future. We are keen to see the operationalization and the start of the central counterparty in order to reflect the value of the investments based on operational results of CCP. Now we are seeing and we are recording these impairments based on the estimation of future cash flows and on the elements from the market. The total liabilities, we go a little bit back. a small decrease by elements of normal elements in our business. The decrease in the equity value is influenced by the current period loss. In the BVB group side, on the consolidated non-current assets, we have recorded a small decrease, mainly influenced by the reclassification of some financial investments, while the intangible assets increased with the value of the license provided by Euronext Clearing. The total consolidated liabilities recorded at the end of the first quarter are over 66 million RON. This was influenced by the accruals recorded by CCP.ro, as mentioned from the contracts signed, and some increase in variable contribution to the guarantee fund from the central depository, and higher deferred income in our trading. Okay. And the last slide, an overview of the BVB shares, what happened in the last years, and the dividend yield evolution.
Thank you very much, Titil. This is our presentation. Let us know if you have any questions for us.
Hi everyone. My name is Crina Stratan. Thank you very much for your presentation. I'm here on behalf of Infinity Capital Investments. I have a question regarding CCP. You stated that CCP submitted a new timeline for the authorization. Can you please specify when do you estimate that CCP will become operational?
So there is only one estimation. So we are discussing now only about estimations. You don't have so it's nothing assumed by the CCP board. For the moment, we are discussing only estimations. So the last estimation, which is already public, is by the end of this month. But we don't have 100%. We don't have. No, so we are discussing about applying the file, yeah, and the operationalization, of course, is depending on the moment we are putting the file again. So now the last estimation, according with what we have done publicly in our reports, current reports, is that the file will put by the end of this month, and the operationalization will be in April next year.
Okay, so starting 2026.
April 2036, but it depends on the moment of. So if there will be further delays in putting the application, probably will have further delays in operationalization. So these are related. Yeah, you can have positive surprise after the application because these are according with the maximum terms, according with EMIR free. Yeah, you can have positive surprise after the application that the authorization to come sooner than the maximum terms. Yeah, this might happen as an upside, but now according with the maximum terms of the authorization regulated by EMIR. And according with the last estimates of the CCP, but this is nothing assumed by the CCP. So for the moment, the file might be reapplied by the end of this. According with our current reports as well, the file might be reapplied by the end of this month. And in this scenario, the maximum term to get to have CCP up and running is April 2026.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, we are discussing with the authorities. We have a very, very intensive discussion with the authorities, and hopefully we'll have something more assumed, yeah, in terms of a new calendar, a new business plan but now more assumed from the CCP side. Yeah? This should come soon for the CCP shareholders and of course for the BVB shareholders. But I'm a board member and I have the quality to discuss about this. I'm the president of the board of the CCP, and but for the moment we don't have all the information and all the pieces to assume calendar towards authorities and towards CCP shareholders and towards BVB shareholders. But what I can say is that we are working heavily on this.
I understand. Thank you very much. Also, given that it will take some time until the authorization is received, is it possible that this year CCP will also increase its share capital similar to the previous year?
Now you are in the scenario that you don't need additional capital now for the moment. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
But of course, because as Virgil has said, we have fixed costs there which are already running. So we are running the full team, we are running all the technology providers, and so we are in the normalized cost side. Yeah. So this is the normal cost side. And of course, the larger delays will be, the larger our deterioration of capital will be. Yeah. So our priority is to generate operational revenues as soon as possible. Yeah? So this is our goal, everybody's goal. But what you have to be aware is that the costs now are normal on the CP side, so they are experiencing now the full size of the cost. Yeah, with the full team technology provider. So this is the full size of the cost. So they are now bearing the full size of the cost, and operationalization is a priority.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any additional questions, please? In this case, thank you very much for your participation today. Have a nice afternoon, and we'll speak for the second quarter report. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Thank you very much.
Very much.
Bye.
Bye.